Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. As is expected from K-tubers as the end of the year slowly approaches, I thought it would be fun to do a typical best comebacks of the year video, but do a different sort of twist on it and talk about my favorite from each month. Today I'll be talking about and doing some analysis on my favorite K-pop release from January, February, March, and ending all the way in December. And if you're interested, stay tuned until the very end where I do a brief ranking of all 12 of my picks. And also, don't feel like you have to be aware of each comeback that happened during every month, because this video is also supposed to be a sort of way to look back on the year. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and without further ado, let's start with January.
Let's get it, know that mine. That chillin', oh my god.
I think my favorite thing about Crush is how it's a rap-based track from a 4th gen boy group that actually feels laid back and uses samples and instruments that you don't typically see, especially from the 4th gen scene. Using percussion that sounds akin to that of a drumline, Crush starts out mellow, but it stays catchy throughout the entire thing. Having a low booming bass line along with varying types of interesting percussion, Crush has this engaging sense of movement to it. Each verse starts small and ends big, and how Crush puts itself above other songs for me is how it takes individual sections such as the verses or the bridge and divides them into subsections. Each verse starts out very minimal, maybe having one line of bass and percussion, but by the end of each one, not only have they changed the rhythm of the lyrics, they've added extra layers on top of that, perhaps adding extra percussion, vocal doubling, and synths on top of that, which make it a very interesting listening experience. And the song does all of this while feeling very laid back and easy to the ears. But the final trick that they use to tie together all of these musical elements that they've introduced is the final party chorus at the end. Using just about every single sample that you've heard throughout the music, the final chorus is one of the most upbeat things you'll ever hear, but it doesn't feel overwhelming because you've heard all of these sounds before. Instead, it feels like a grand finale, ending on a high note and leaving you ready to loop it one more time. And one more time after that.
Don't you look behind. Oh my.
One of my favorite things about Paranoia is how it truly embraces the horror concept even in the music itself. Incorporating sounds such as footsteps and sinister laughs, Kang Daniel is talking about his inner demons with this song, and you can almost feel what he's talking about through the sound. The first two choruses end rather abruptly, and while it does feel a little bit unnerving, I think that's exactly the effect he was going for. The first 2.5 minutes create this sense of anticipation for the final chorus. It fully develops the unfinished ideas that the first two introduced, but ends on this ominous note, completely resolving all of the musical tension but leaving listeners interested in the storyline. While Kang Daniel isn't the most renowned vocalist in the industry, I really admire his willingness to add character into his voice. Specifically in the pre-chorus, he makes his voice sound rather sinister, and it really does help sell the concept. Ignoring however much money Starship used to fund this comeback, Unnatural is one of the most expensive sounding songs of the year. Effortlessly transitioning from the lighter part of their voices to full-on belting, Unnatural sounds very leisurely and regal, and the idea that it feels like they don't have to lift a pinky in order to hit whatever note they want to. This also has to be one of EXI's most well-crafted rap verses in WJSN's entire discography, not feeling like a change of pace within the song besides the fact that it comes right after the chorus and smoothly transitioning into the next section. EXI's rap actually enhances the song versus many other groups who fail to do the same with theirs. If you've listened to this song at all, you know it's set in an extremely high key, and for me personally, songs being that high is usually a minus in my books. However, it's a non-problem here because you can't hear an ounce of strain in their voices, and instead all you hear is power in their vocals, which is very commendable. Scared, to put it simply, is the definition of a reckless track. Using sharp, high-pitched synths to the fullest throughout almost the entire song, I understand why so many people have a distaste for it. However, the way Scared throws everything at you that it has to give within the first few seconds of the song is sort of charming to me, and I really enjoy how the song embraces and pushes its noisy qualities to the forefront, keeping the energy up the entire time and overall just being a really high energy song that boosts my mood. From May and last lasting all the way up until maybe the September area, Black Mirror was my all-time favorite song of the year. Jumping on the retro train that was on its last legs at the time, Black Mirror took a different take on retro and deviated away from the 80s funk style and instead went full disco. Maybe still being the best two-part chorus of the year, the first half has a focus on the instrumental, beginning mostly with just a bass guitar and the vocal accompaniment of do-do-do-do-do. At first you think it's just another basic anti-drop, but then they add more onto it, adding synth lines, a little bit of percussion, and a second guitar, which is really cool, by the way. And this is before the second half of the chorus even hits. When it finally does, the members are able to showcase the higher registers of their voices really well, and they're accompanied by this really gracious sounding string instrumental. There's also just this overall futuristic sound to the second half of the chorus, which I find really nice, but my absolute favorite part of Black Mirror is the fake out that they do right after the bridge. Instead of repeating the first half of the chorus for a third time, which is what the instrumental leads you to believe they're gonna do, they add this really fun rap breakdown section. And besides showing off the two rappers' high technique and skill level, and it really makes the song a lot more engaging and fun because they take an extra step where nobody expected them to, which makes the listening experience overall way more attention grabbing, and personally, it's what made me a stan. While it is one of NCT's more safe title tracks, I can appreciate a good pop song where it's due. And while I truly do love this song, there's not too much to say about it because it's just overall solid. Everything from the beat to the vocals to the transitions to the rap are all so good, and the entire aesthetic that they were going for too really did come across well, and the colorful qualities of the music video really do match the colorful qualities of the music. Is Hello Future relatively safe? Yes. But does every single song that we like have to be experimental and boundary pushing? Absolutely not. Hello Future is just good, and there's no other way to describe it. Generally, I dislike it when a song is under 3 minutes because I dislike the trend of K-pop getting shorter and shorter recently. However, Beam Beam is just another example of Soyeon being able to produce fully fleshed out tracks even in a shorter amount of time. My favorite thing about Soyeon's mini album this year was how she's able to incorporate her rap into songs that you wouldn't expect them to be in. Despite rap being what she's most known for in and outside of her group, the kind of music that Soyeon makes for herself is rather quirky and upbeat, contrary to what you'd probably expect. Rapping to beats that you generally wouldn't expect to be made for rap-focused music makes Soyeon's songs a lot more intriguing, and her really powerful vocals are just there to back it up. Every time Soyeon raps, it feels like she's telling a story, and correct me if I'm being crazy right now, but to me, Beam Beam sounds like something that you would hear in the soundtrack for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but like, in a good way of course. Soyeon's way of delivering her lines is honestly like a top 3 for me out of every single K-pop idol ever, and I don't think anyone would be able to do Beam Beam as well as Soyeon does herself. Where Queendom really shines is how it's one of the most catchy songs that's ever been released, like ever. Everything from Irene and Yeri's rap to "Cause We Are Queens and Kings" from La Dida Dupa Badida gets stuck in your head so effortlessly, and it's definitely one of the most replayable songs that Red Velvet has ever released. As always, Red Velvet are just the queens of vocal ad-libs once again, every single one of them, especially in the final chorus, being so easy to listen to. Every single melody present in Queendom is super easy to follow and sing along to, and it makes a piece of music that's pretty consistently easy to listen to no matter what kind of mood you're in. And overall, Queendom is just objectively fun and enjoyable. If you told me at the beginning of the year that one of my biggest obsessions was gonna be a cute song about zombies, I would have told you that you're crazy. But somehow, Purple Kiss came out of left field and dropped one of the most universally liked songs by K-pop stans that I've ever seen. Something about the way that the differing vocal colors of each member come together adds quite a lot of charm into Zombie, and particularly those of the two main vocals, Swan, who has a very full and earthy sounding voice, and Kohn, who sounds rather sharp and concise. The difference in the way the two deliver their lines in the chorus is rather captivating, and specifically in the zombie be part, you can really hear their differences, and it's nice to have that sense of variety within the music. I also have to give a big shout out to Yuki, the rapper of the group. Even though her verses were pretty short, they were short and sweet, making perfect sense in their placement within the song, and being nothing but enjoyable for all of the 20 seconds that they both make up. Everything about Zombie is just fun. The music video is fun, the choreography is fun, the vocal lines were fun, the rap is fun. It's just a really good song. And I hope their next release is just as good. If you're familiar with my channel, you might remember a video I made a little while ago where I critiqued Tamedash. And while I don't necessarily disagree with any of the things that I said, I didn't mention any of the things that I actually do like about this song, and I do like it. That's why we're talking about it today. What I really love about Tamedash is this sort of drive that it has to it. Every single line has this sort of determined emotion to it, and it's really infectious and mood boosting. I know a lot of people dislike the autotune, which is totally fair, but I actually enjoy it. I think hearing the different ways that autotune affects their voices when they're in, say, their chest voice versus their falsetto is really interesting, and they do that so much in the chorus where there's always something to pay attention to, and you just never really get bored. My favorite section of Tamedash is definitely the post-chorus. It actually kind of reminds me of I Can't Stop Me by Twice's post-chorus. Having that sort of airy whimsical sound as they transition into the next verse is really satisfying, and it's something that I just can't get enough of personally.
Let's get it, you are my siesta. Baby,
To be completely honest, when the first music video teasers dropped for Siesta, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. However, I should have realized that Meki never disappoints. Siesta is just very feel-good, and it can be an instant mood booster in any situation. Having some of the brightest vocals in the entire industry, you can't help but smile when you listen to Siesta. Differing from a lot of the songs on this list, which kind of keep the same energy throughout, Siesta is an entire journey from start to finish. The introduction, verses, pre-chorus, chorus, everything sounds different and serves a different purpose within the music. I love how this song has two different vocal hooks with Boom Boom Fireworks and La 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 Siesta, because depending on the time of day, I get a different part stuck in my head. Overall, Siesta is just a really fun, uplifting song, and anytime I need something to cheer me up, Siesta is right there for me to play. Goosebumps is 100% the most interesting track that ONF has ever put out. With all three of the choruses being different, you never really know what's gonna happen next, and that's what I love about it. Goosebumps feels very Thriller by Michael Jackson-esque, and the overall spooky sense that the track has makes the unpredictability of it work really well. This is another group where the vocal colors of the members really do affect the song, and the range that they have from Wyatt to Yu to Hyojin to MK makes you know that this is a group, and the teamwork that they use with their voices works so well for them. I know not everybody loves chanting in music, but that breakdown during the last chorus really is one of the best things that I've ever heard, and even though ONF are just about to enter their enlistment period, they truly did go out with a bang. This is by far their best title track yet, in my opinion. And that concludes this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and make sure to let me know what your favorite comeback of each month was in the comment section below. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you want to see more from me, consider subscribing. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Nani? Hey, waka. Tell me what? Nani? Oh my god, dance like